Hello everyone. In this chapter, Irah becomes a flower gardener. We are going to learn about Irah's life story and how she became a flower gardener. What were the obstacles and how she crossed them to achieve her goal. Now, as we know, farming is not just about growing crops like wheats and rice, it's also about growing vegetables and flowers. So in this lesson, we will see that Ira, our main character, the heroine of the story, is interested in doing floriculture. She wants to have a flower garden for herself. Floriculture is when you grow flowers to sell them. Yes, not just to decorate your gardens and use them for personal use, but for business purposes. One more aspect of the story is literacy. Let's we have discussed this picture in the class too. You also think while looking at the picture what comes to your mind. You can see the hands. They are of people of all races. Black, whitish means Asian, European, African, all kinds of people when throughout the world. How we progressed in the terms of education. Literacy is a key skill and a key measure of a population's education. In this entry, we discuss historical trends as well as recent developments in literacy. From a historical perspective, literacy levels for the world population have risen drastically in the last couple of centuries. While our 12% of the people in the world could read and write in 1820, today the share has reversed. Only 14% of the world population in 2016 remained illiterate. While 12% was literate, now only 14% is illiterate, means they have not got any formal education. Over the last 65 years, the global literacy rate increased by 4% every 5 years, from 42% in 1960 to 86% in 2015. The global literacy rate for all males is 90% and rate for all females is 82.7. Now, why is the female rate less? Think over it. Do you think there is a difference in the literacy rate between different countries? Yes. Think over it and try to find the answers. Do you think women literacy rate is less globally? Have you heard of adult education? These are all for you to find out. Now, our story is based in the beautiful country of Indonesia. Ira becomes a flower gardener. Main characters: Ira, Mrs. Sri, Sari, Ira's father and Ira's mother. Now, the story starts in a meeting room and it's very noisy. Several men has come from city and were talking to the headman of Ciberro. They wanted to invest their money in flowers to be sold in Jakarta. Okay. Now, from all around the nearby villages, of several villages, the farmers have come for guidance because they don't have the experience of growing flowers. They know how to grow crops, vegetables, but flowers are delicate. They need a special techniques and cares. So, how to grow them? For that assistance, that guidance, they were there. And several men has come from the city in order to guide them and to get them to plant flowers so that they could sell it in Jakarta. Okay. So, this was the first meeting between the investors. Who are investors? Those who come and they invest money in something in order to help you do, and they get the money back soon or they get the product from you. Okay. Now, the headman of Chibiru and the investors had spoken. Those who were interested in growing flowers were requested to hand in their names to Mrs. Shri. The neighboring village of Chihezu had the most suitable soil and climate for a flower plantation, and that village was represented by a cheerful girl of 14 called Irah. Now, Irah was the eldest of the four children and only daughter of her parents. Now, she had loved flowers and, as a daughter of farmer, knew a lot about growing plants. Okay, so automatically Ira's name was put in the list by Mrs. Shri, and she gave her a book with pictures of all kinds of attractive flowers. The next meeting would be held in 3 months. They had to study the book and according to that do the plantations, and in 3 months they would see the result. And by then Ira had to study the book so that she would know the names of flowers that were suitable for growing in Chihezu. Now all flowers cannot grow everywhere, so all those details were there in the book, how to plant them and what fertilizers to use. Okay, now that was good news, but I looked sad on her way home. Why? Let's find out. Because she could not understand what was written in the book. She didn't even know how to read. Now, didn't we see that she was already 14? How come she didn't read? Was she not allowed to go to school? Let's find out. So, as we see in the lesson, she regretted having thrown away her chance of study. Means she got the chance, but she threw it away. How? Elementary education was compulsory in her village, but for a few weeks after she started school, immediately after she started, she got typhoid fever and she had to stay at home for a month. And when she returned to school, she couldn't catch up. All the children have already learned so much, and she was behind, so she had to do labor. But she didn't do labor. What she did, she became lazy and she used her illness as an excuse, making people believe that high fever had made her unable to learn. And she spent most of the time drawing pictures and stopped attending school altogether. She was very talented in making pictures. Okay, so she liked doing that, and she did not want to put the labor of catching up on her studies, so she made everyone believe that she has lost her ability. Nobody forced her and she stopped going to school altogether. So she was not able to even read. So that night Ira couldn't sleep. Her thoughts were far away in a rose plantation. Why? Because she knew without studying the book, she won't be able to do the plantations, the flower plantations properly. Now, the whole family was worried because she was very tired and irritable. So father was thinking, her father thought, maybe I sent her alone. So she became irritated, but he was thinking that, but she knew that I had to attend an important meeting to discuss the annual kite competition. Now this is additional information. There was going to be an annual kite competition in the village, and do you know who was the main illustrator for the village? Irah. So the Chihezu villagers had won several prizes in the past as before, and they expected Ira to do the illustration. I told you she was very good in drawing. Yes, so we have to start discussing the design of our kite as soon as we can. Ira's father said we only have 3 months. Ira said, I also have only 3 months to read the book, thought Ira, as she sat for hours under a zambu tree staring at the blue sky. If she succeeded in this business, she would be able to see and smell roses every day. You all should always do things that you are passionate about, and she was passionate about flower gardening. But the only obstacle was she was not able to read. She used to smile and grow sad again, thinking and dreaming about growing roses, but how to do it without reading that book, she sighed. In the afternoon, her friends came to talk about the kite, but Ira became angry and said, I don't want to help you. She shouted, go away. She ran crying into her room. She was disturbed because she couldn't read and she couldn't do anything. She thought that her dreams of becoming a flower gardener were going to be broken. Now, Ira's friends and her mother were surprised. She never behaved like that. So, immediately, mother followed her into the room, and when she saw the book, she understood at once. Now, She went to Ira's friend and said she's in trouble, Ira, and she needs your help to make her dreams come true. Will you all teach her to read? They agreed immediately. They were great friends. And Ira's best friend, Sari, said she would teach her to read and write. And next morning, Sari came to have a chat with Ira. And Ira told her how unbearable the thought was that she will not be able to do the flower plantation that she had already always dreamed of. Ira cried. So Sari said, "Don't be sad, Ira. We are going to help you. I am going to help you, and I am going to teach you every day until you are able to read and write." "You mean it?" cried Ira. "But we have only 3 months' time. I am expected to help in making the kite too." She said, "Let's forget about the kite for time being. Knowing your talent, you won't need much time to make the design. So concentrate on your lessons first. Okay? You should be able to read in a month." As she was a grown up, it would have be quicker for her to follow, more than smaller children. That is what we meant by adult education. Even when you grow up at any age throughout your life, if you want to still study, you can. Basic education is a right for everyone. Even if you do not study as a small child, even as you grow up, you can still continue that. Okay, so Ira promised, "I'll do my best." And then Ira made good progress. All her friends joined in teaching her to read and write and take dictation. In the end, the book about flowers was read and discussed in the classroom by all. Ira was grateful to her friends, and one day she told them that it was time to help them with the kite. Everybody was excited. First, they spent many days discussing the shape and design of the kites. Yes, without discussing, we don't do anything. And then they brought the materials, and then one of the boys made the kite and Ira made the illustration. It was a big kite with long tail, a unique shape with the beautiful designs of flowers on it. As expected, Chihezu won the first prize, and for the kite's beautiful design of flowers were irresistible. Now that the competition was over, Ira thought, "I'm going to concentrate on my roses. I'm going to be a rose gardener," she told her father the next day. Father said, "I completely agree with you and promise to help you. And the most important thing is that you feel happy with your work." A few months passed. Ira's garden had never looked so pretty. The garden was full of roses, marigolds, marguerites, and carnations. And in the house, the vases full of roses fill every corner of your house. Okay, Ira's dream had come true. She had become an accomplished gardener. So that's the end of the story. In the next video, we will learn about the poem of this lesson, Trees.